Hello, everyone. It's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, with another 10ish-minute review from the road. Today, I am in Tampa, Florida, and I was going to wait to do this till I got back in the studio, but I couldn't wait. So I'm going to get to my review in 1 second. One thing, I pronounced when we reviewed Kaithi, we pronounced it wrong. We were pronouncing it Kaithi. That's what I thought it was. I was corrected. It is Kaithi. And I like that movie a lot. So I just want to get that straight. Now, listen, I'm on the road doing this for you, the viewers. So what does that mean? What does that mean I need from you? That's right. I need to subscribe, hit the notification button, and as always, smash that like button. Now, when I do this is going to be bare bones today, okay? Doing all the edits and all the clips is pretty difficult on my laptop. It's much easier at home. So I'm going to have just a few clips. It's going to be very bare bones, but I want to get right to my review. So last night, I watched Vikram, 2022's Vikram. That was based on a recommendation after watching Kaithi because it's in the same universe as Kaithi. In fact, this movie actually referenced twice the movie Kaithi. Now, this movie came out in 2022, so there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen it, don't watch this because it's going to be spoiler filled, okay? This film was directed by Lokesh Kanagaraj. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It stars Kamal Hassan, who plays Agent Vikram, who I had never heard of before. I had never seen, and I was blown away by this guy. Towards the second half of the film. The first half of the film, he's very different than he ends up. Fantastic. Vijay Sethupathi, who played the bad guy, who was wonderful. And Fahad Fasil, who played the lead Black Ops guy. Now, I want to talk about him for a second because I am becoming a huge fan of this guy. I saw him in Super Deluxe, where he played a wannabe actor who pretended to be drunk. And I thought it was the best scene in the whole movie, him and his ex-wife. It was fantastic. Then I saw Kala, what the heck's that movie called? Kumbalagi Nights, where he played just the worst person in the world, and ended up being a psycho at the end. I didn't know it was the same guy. That's how good he was. Then I see him in this, and he's like this action star who, frankly, goes through a pretty big arc in the story. And he was wonderful. And the supporting cast was great. All the Black Ops guys. Anyway, let me get to this review because this movie just really surprised me. So it's a mystery. At the beginning of the movie, and it's pretty graphic. There are people who get gutted with knives. And it's pretty gruesome. Much more gruesome than I've seen in some of these movies. So then as it's being inspected by these cool I don't know what they are. They're police. They're not police officers. They're like, it's kind of like a Black Ops operation. So they don't report to anybody really. And they're on their own. Well, they take over the investigation of these police people that are getting killed. It's drug related. Again, back to Kaithi, right? So he comes on board with these 5 guys, and they're very cool. Every time I show them, they're walking together. They got cool music. So they start, the last guy who gets killed that you see, he gets blown up. They start investigating it, and they find out that it's not exactly what they think. And then what it turns into, and here's the spoiler, the guy they thought got killed was the guy that's doing all the killing. And it's a revenge killing for his son, who was a police officer and who was outed as a police officer, got killed by the bad guy, Santhanam, because he eats some kind of wonder drug that turns him like the Incredible Hulk. It's pretty amazing. He does it about 5 times during the movie. So this guy, Agent Vikram, which you don't know he's Agent Vikram, right? Because when I first was watching it, I thought Fasil played Vikram. I thought that's who he was. Well, then I find out it's this other guy who was in charge of a Black Ops team, seek all agents, in the 80s. And then they got disbanded in the 90s. Now they're back together. You don't know that. You find that out one after another. So he's on a revenge tour, and it's just a wonderful movie. I mean, I got to tell you, it's one of the better ones I've seen. And Amir Khan wasn't in it, and I still loved it. The opening dance scene is like in a junkyard, all these guys dancing. It was really cool. Um, and they do this interesting thing when Amar is investigating. He's at a location where he's investigating. He envisions the people he's investigating. He imagines them right in front of him, even though in the beginning they're dead. So I thought that was an interesting thing they did. Now the tactics of this crew, Amar's crew, is pretty brutal. I mean, they're breaking fingers to get information when they interrogate people. I mean, they're not nice people, but they get the job done. And at one point, they give some guy sodium pentothal to have him speak the truth, but it's not like they just inject him. I mean, they jab the thing into his neck to get him to talk. It's like pretty brutal, right? So they introduce the bad guy by he murders a cop, and this guy's just bad, awful. And the funny thing is he's from a big family, right? So they show this big family, and he's got 3 wives, and they're all jockeying for position. And one of his wives says, "I want to be on your other side. Why is she on your other side?" And this is a great line. He says to her, "Which side is my heart on? That's where I want you." And she's like, "Oh." And then the camera pulls back, and it's like 30 people in the family, and they're taking this family photo. It's crazy. What else happened? Oh, so through the course of the movie, Amar gets married to this wonderful woman who doesn't know what he does. Okay. Spoiler. When a woman marries you and she doesn't know what you do, she eventually finds out and she will eventually die. That's what always happens in movies. Okay. So she was beautiful, but I know she wasn't long for this world. And of course, that turned out to be true. But it was an adorable scene when they were getting married because he couldn't make the wedding because of his job. And he goes back to her and she's wearing her sari and it's absolutely beautiful. And she's understanding about it. He says, "Why don't we just get married now?" And she said, "Well, we can't get married without any witnesses." Well, he gets the team. He gets his Black Ops team, and they come and they're doing shots and they get married. Now, here's the sex scene in an Indian movie, which you don't normally see. Okay. So they cut to the wedding night. And I think it's about 3 seconds. And they're both under the covers. All you see is a lump. It goes up and down, and then that's it. And then they cut. Okay. So pretty spicy if you ask me. So, okay. So that was it. Okay. Now, they had sex. She's going to die. Okay. So you know that. So then there's a scene where it cuts to the truck in Kaithi with the inspector and the guy who owned the truck. And you don't see Dilly, but you can hear him humming that song that he was humming in the movie. So there's the first callback to Kaithi. So now I know we're in the same universe because as I'm watching it, I'm going, well, what makes this the same universe? I couldn't figure that out. Okay. The guy who's playing Vikram, this movie reminded me of John Wick, that you can't stop this guy. He's relentless. He's on a revenge tour. And when I saw him, he's not you think of like these guys when they work out and they're all ripped and everything and they look powerful. Ajay Devgan, Amir Khan, just to name a few. This guy didn't look like that. This guy looked a little bit pudgy, kind of short, older. I don't know how old the guy is. And I know he's famous. I've never seen him in anything, but he was fantastic. The stuff he did in this movie, I just loved this character. And then you find out all these people that helped him pretend he was dead are all agents, his team. And the one that surprised me the most that I absolutely loved was, I don't know if you'd call her a housekeeper, but his daughter-in-law and the grandchild live in this house with a housekeeper who you see throughout the movie, just an older woman, right? Well, at one point, the bad guys break in the house to get the grandson. And she comes out and starts wasting everybody. Then it freezes, and this colored background comes in. It goes, Agent Tina, with the name of the team, right? Now, it's an incredible scene because she really starts wailing all these guys with knives, and they get her a few times, but she gets her licks in. She ultimately dies, but she takes a lot of them with them. And it's a great action scene, and it's done really well. Well, now in this part of the movie, every time somebody helps them, they get that colorful background with their agent name, and he was the team leader. So that was great. It was very Tarantino-ish. I kind of got that vibe. So the climax of the movie with the bad guy and Vikram and the grandchild and Amar, who now his wife's been killed. Now he's on a revenge tour. He's actually going to help Vikram. So this scene at the end where there's all kinds of guns that he uses. And there's a cannon that he uses that is fantastic. But then he takes out a Browning submachine gun, this giant, I don't know what it is, 50 millimeter shells or something. And he goes to town on all the bad guys. It is a great action scene with flames going everywhere. And he's just out there just wailing on everybody. And then at the end, you think he's going to sacrifice himself because the bad guy puts a thing around his leg to chain him to each other because he's going to kill the bad guy in an explosion. And he ends up getting out of it. And the last scene in the movie, he sees his grandchild and his granddaughter, and he starts waving to the grandkid. It's just a beautiful scene. But I really like this, and I'm so glad you guys recommended it because the action was great. And I'm going to look at some of the other movies within this same universe. Now, is it without complaint? No. The way he fakes his own death in the beginning, it's kind of a cheat the way they do it. Now, they show you in a flashback how he did it, but when you're actually seeing it, it really appears that it's happening. So it's a kind of a cheat, which is not a big criticism. My only other criticism is the grandchild plays a big part in this movie. And I think unrealistically so, that they bring this grandchild into situations that it's a baby, that just seemed completely ridiculous to me. And at one point, the baby actually isn't breathing. So Amar has to give it CPR. Well, it's obviously, I don't know if it's CGI, but it's obviously a dummy. You can tell the thing is a dummy. It doesn't look anything like a real person till the breath. Then all of a sudden it's a real person. I just thought I thought they could have done a better job of that. But this movie is a cool movie. I really, really enjoyed it. And again, this guy, man, Kamal, Agent Vikram. And by the way, he's got a theme song. Oh, yeah, the music. Okay, so some of the movies I've been watching lately, especially the Telugu ones, I find the music distracting. It's way too much. It just never stops. In this movie, it works fantastic. I don't know who wrote this music, but it's great. It's music that I could listen to without watching the movie. That's how good it was. So check it out. It was, I'm telling you, I'm so glad I watched this, and I liked it better than Kaithi. I really did. And I want to see this guy in another movie. That's how much I liked it. Okay. Now we're doing a viewer poll for the next movie I'm going to review. It looks like Queen is running away with it. I don't know what number 2 is going to be. And some of you who know my taste are telling me that I'm probably not going to like Queen, that I like the other movies better, but I put it up there. We'll see what happens. I got to go with the viewer poll. So I'll watch probably Queen, and then I'll watch something else, but I'm not going to watch them till I get home. It's too hard to do it this way. And it's just harder to do. So if you haven't seen Vikram, check it out. By the way, there's one more reference to Kaithi also towards the end of the movie. And then the last scene where they show you the big bad guy, who is Rolex, who is a nut job. But that scene is awesome in a hangar. I don't know how many people are in that scene, but there was a ton of people in the scene, and he's going off. He wants to kill Vikram and all this stuff. And everyone starts walking away from him. And then the reveal is Vikram turns around and he's right there. And then he turns back. So now he knows the plan. So sequel. And that's a sequel I'm down with. Okay. All right. Listen, I hope you like my quick review. I think this actually was 10 minutes. So you know what that means? That's right. Subscribe, hit the notification button, smash the like button. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you appreciate that I'm doing these on the road. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Hey, but for you, the fans, I'm willing to do it. Thanks for watching. And we will see you next time with the poll winner of the viewer choice. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.